I'm Mike Sullivan. Have you ever heard that you may be too far forward when you're striking the ball at impact? If you're a better golfer, this may be something you're doing and it could be costing you some strokes. So I want to talk about Perfect Motion a little bit, because this is an app that goes on your phone. And the thing about it is you can practice, you can do drills, and you can see right away if you're doing the drills correctly, how close you're getting to doing them correctly. Once you start doing them correctly, when do you make a mistake? And that happens a lot. So a lot of times when I work with people doing drills, they'll start to do a drill and they'll do a few pretty well. Then they just kind of fall off and fall back into their own habit. And if you didn't have some sort of a feedback device, you would never know that you fell back into your old habit. So that's one of the many things I love about this app. But I want to talk today really about the Perfect Motion fault of getting too far forward at impact. And it relates to a couple other things, and I want to show you. So I'm just going to set this phone down right against this range bucket, and I haven't done any practice swings or anything like that yet, but I'm just going to set it here for now as I talk about this. So when we hit a golf shot, or when we skip a stone, or when we toss a ball sidearm, or if we were to hit a ball with a bat, something is happening here with all of these movements. My lower body moves towards the target, and then my lead hip moves behind my lead heel. And what this does, on one thing, what it does is it gives us side bend. So it helps our spine tilt a little bit this way. And in golf, this is important because when we tilt a little bit with this side bend, we can really easily get the club to swing in the proper swing direction, help us with the proper swing path. So if we see golfers coming through and they're like this, and by the way, this would be getting too far forward at impact. This would be one way to do it. When we see this happen, that player is going to have a swing path that goes out to in. They're going to hit pulls and they're going to hit slices. We don't want that, obviously. So that's something that this app can do for us. The other thing that'll go on here is, one of the other things that can happen is when we're talking about getting started with our lower body, well, this also helps me move pressure into my front foot, which we want to do. And you'll notice when I set up here, if you see my sternum, well, when my hips move towards the target a little bit, my entire spine kind of flattens out a little bit. And you see my sternum gets a little bit lower as pressure gets into my front foot. And I've got this pressure mat right now. I don't have it hooked up to an iPad or anything, but I've done enough of this to know that when I make this happen, pressure moves forward. It moves forward before I get the club to the ball. And as I get a little shorter with my sternum, my entire swing gets a little lower. And that helps me to be able to strike the ball and then the turf without trying to hit down on the ball. All right, so one of the first things that happens to people when they realize that they're too far forward at impact is many people will get their spine, they won't literally get their spine going this way very often, but they won't have enough side bend and they have a hard time getting a path, but they can hit the ball before the ground a lot of times. The other thing you'll see here is, and if you look at swing videos of, say, a tour player, and I'll see if I can put somebody up on the screen when I edit this, right? When you look at a tour player and they're coming down to impact, their lead hip turns through, that gives them all sorts of room to be able to get their hands to stay right out in front of their body, and you see their hands are ahead of that ball at impact. And this is something for me, when I first started hitting balls with this app, my fault was I was getting too far forward because guess what I would do? I would get a little bit of this movement where my hips don't turn, they'd move forward, and actually I would get a little bit, I still have a little bit of this, I extend a little bit early, my hips going in towards the ball, and then what happens is when I get through here, I can't really get my hands ahead of the ball to strike it, and I would get an impact position where the club head is trying to sneak past my hands. Kind of a scoopy little impact position. And that is no good. We do not want that. So a lot of better players out there who have worked on trying to get forward because they know they need to hit the ball before they hit the ground, they'll get going forward this way, their hands move out towards the ball, and they get a little bit of this happening. So using this app is going to really help us out with that a lot. And I'm going to turn it on right now, and hopefully I can just get the fault to come up first thing. So I'm going to hit the training button here. I'm going to go into ball mode. I'm going to choose an iron. I'm going to enable snapshots. Please enable snapshots, because when you do that, your phone will take a video of you doing this stuff, and you can look at the actual video to see the correlation between the video and the motion map you're going to get. And then also, if you're working remotely with me or with one of the other coaches with Perfect Motion, we can see your motion maps and we can see your video, and it just helps us help you better. Okay? So the cool thing about this is you're not on your own, you have somebody who can help you out with it. So it wants to put me in level 2. I'm going to go with level 2. All right, I'm going to hit start session. I'm only going to do a few swings here. I'm going to put it on 5 swings. I'll just breeze through these. Start session. I'm going to set this thing down looking up at me on my little basket. All right, set up to the ball.
Look to target.
Look to target.
Pause.
Back at ball. Well, I had this set up for a lefty before. I was doing putting with someone. It knew I was wrong. Here we go. Okay. Get ball.
Swing.
And it hit it.
2 forward at
so
impact.
that one, I think I got too far forward. I hit that very well. I'm going to give it a shake because I know I did. I just know I got way too far forward. So let's look at that last one. So let's go into my results. I'm going to go straight to the motion mode. Yeah, so look at that. So too far forward at impact. So you can see that little guy moving. So that's my sternum moving back. It got taller and then got lower, which was good, but too far forward. All right. So I'm going to work on that, but I'm going to work on that in no ball mode. Okay. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go back into training, no ball. I'm going to enable snapshots. I'm going to take 5 swings. So I'm going to basically now just do what I talked about at the beginning of our little session. Okay.
1. Set up to swing.
Set up to swing.
Look to target.
Look to target.
Look back at ball.
Back at ball.
Swing.
And swing.
Perfect motion.
All right, so that's a perfect motion. So here's the thing. To me, so I just got a perfect motion on that, but it felt to me like I was totally hanging back. All right? And so I'm not going to make this video too much longer, but I'm going to work on making swings with no ball, making sure that for me, I get the lower body moving forward and my left hip behind my left heel. And now it feels to me like I'm totally not transferring weight forward, but that makes sense because what's my habit feels good to me, right? But this is going to help me become overall a much better ball striker and more consistent ball striker. And here's the thing, and this is what's so great about this is, when I do start hitting balls that way, when I get a perfect motion and I mishit the ball, I'm going to tell perfect motion by shaking my head that it was not a good shot. And when I hit a shot and maybe I don't get the best motion in the world, I'm going to tell it, yes, I hit a good shot. And then the artificial intelligence in the app will adapt that, remember that overlay that I showed you? It's going to adapt that overlay into my perfect swing, into my perfect motion. And that's what's so great about this app. And so try it out. You can go right to my webpage and download the app. Man, I did not really intend, honestly, for this to be a commercial for Perfect Motion. It's free to download, it's free to try though, and I think it can really help you. So check it out, work with it a little bit. If you like it, you can then pay like $6 a month and sign up for it full time. And by the way, if you want, you can select me as your golf professional and I'll be able to see your motion maps, and we could even work remotely if you'd like to do that. Thanks for watching.